Hi, I'm Parneet Jaggi and welcome to this video on Francis Bacon's essay of Studies. We earlier discussed in the previous videos as to how Bacon goes about on this theme of studies and how he elaborates his own personal views on the studies. This video is going to be a brief analysis about the themes that he takes along through the essay and the style and structure of the essay. We earlier saw that this essay of studies highlights the importance of studies in one's life. And in the very beginning of the essay, Bacon tells the readers that the three important benefits or uses of studies are the use of studies for delight, for ornament, and for ability. Now, we did the explanation earlier also, but because this is the main thematic concern of the essay, we discuss it again as firstly, Bacon enumerates the uses of studies, why studies are very significant in our life, because he says, firstly, we get delight. Studies provide us with pleasure in our private hours, in our free time, in our leisure hours. Secondly, studies provide ornamentation in our speech, in our conversation, in our personality. Now, by ornamentation, Bacon doesn't mean decoration. By ornamentation, he means that we are able to present ourselves more gracefully, or we can exhibit our language in a more graceful and elegant manner through conversation. And lastly, the use of studies that he highlights here in this essay is for ability. Now, this ability is one can improve one's efficiency, one's proficiency, one's capability for judgment in business and other related pursuits of life. So, according to Bacon, when he elaborates this theme of uses, he even says expert men with worldly experience can carry out the plans and judge a particular circumstance. But those who study or are learned, they are better placed because they are able to understand the important matters, and even give advice on those matters because they have the ability to judge the circumstances. Along with experience, they also have learning or a proper background information, so they are more suitable and proficient in dealing with the daily affairs of life. Then, besides uses, he also talks about the abuses of studies. He says there can be disadvantages of studies when we take to excessive reading. For example, he says that too much studying can lead one to laziness, and too much involvement may even result in affectation. Now, affectation is when one goes into showing off of the knowledge. Then, too much involvement in the bookish knowledge may also draw a line book between reality and imagination, which may ultimately distance one's mind from the real world. So, therefore, Bacon actually emphasizes the value of practical knowledge, and he warns to some extent that studies are useful only when our bookish knowledge is supplemented by practical experience. So, the need of experience to supplement imperfect studies has been amply emphasized in this essay. He even gives the example and uses a simile that just like natural plants, the natural abilities of a person are just like natural plants, and they are nurtured, groomed, enhanced by studies. But studies without experience actually lead to confusion in dealing with the real outside world. Then he's also mentioned some defects, mental defects that can be remedied with various kinds of studies. He says different kinds of readings, different kinds of styles of reading can also give different effects on your mind, and various subjects can have different benefits on your mind and personality because we have diverse fields of knowledge. We have subjects like history, poetry, mathematics, philosophy, etc. So, as an example, he asserts that history make men wise, poets witty, mathematics subtle, natural philosophy deep, moral grave, logic and rhetoric able to contend. So, in detail, I'll just take up history, for example. He says that it helps to make men wise, it makes us aware of what has already happened and its causes of occurrence, and therefore it is like able to provide an insight to the reader into the past events from which he can learn from the mistakes of other people and lessons from these experiences so that he doesn't repeat it in life. So, this way, he takes up several points of defects where he says that these defects can be corrected by subjects according to the respective problems. Then, coming to a very important part of his writing, which is the style. Bacon is known for his prose style for several reasons. His essays are famous for their brevity and their logical content. Now, this essay in particular is a masterpiece of brevity. Brevity means he's very concise, he's short, he's precise, compact in his terse in his writing. He says lots of things in very few words in short sentences. And some of his sentences even read like proverbs, as if they are sayings in the common world. So, this essay also is compressed like most of the other essays that he has written. It is bold and it is full of condensed thought. In very few words, very short sentences, he is able to assert large thoughts, sublime, lofty derivations, and logical reasoning also. Then another point about his style is that it is devoid of ornamentation. It is not decorative, it is not artificial, it is not full of devices, pictorial devices here and there, but he is being very straightforward, very clear, very lucid in what he wants to say. The sentences in the essay run very smoothly, they are quite comprehensible and understandable. Force and precision are the main characteristics of this essay. Whatever he says with a particular, with emphatic force that you are bound to be convinced with what he is saying. You might disagree at some point, but still the words carry force with them. And there is precision that he doesn't linger on with the same topic throughout the essay. He moves on to the next points. Then his passages bear the mark of a grand and confident self-esteem, sometimes directly assertive, sometimes condescending, sometimes scornful. He even seems to be angry or even seems to be scolding at some point where he says that this should not be the kind of reading or this should not be the kind of habit of studying. Sometimes even disguised under a transparent affectation of modesty. So sometimes he looks like he's trying to be modest. There is a disguise. It is like he is trying to be very, very humble and modest, although he is not. Then, of course, we've already discussed, he avoids with care both pedantry and vulgarity. His essays are not vulgar. This essay in particular is a very serious essay on a serious topic, and he is not even pedantic. He's not showing off anything, but he's being very reasonable and logical in what he says. Though he has no scruple in using homely illustrations where such illustrations would be more telling. So even his illustration and examples are very commonplace and homely. Now, not to forget his similes, we also find that he supports his statements with the appropriate similes where it is needed. For example, we have one such simile where he says, distilled books are like common distilled waters, flashy things. So we also have recurrent use of metaphors in these. Like, for example, we also have another simile like, he says, like as the diseases of the body, you may have appropriate physical exercise. So when he's comparing the maladies, the disorders of the body with the disorders of the mind, he is using this example, the simile, like as diseases of the body can be corrected with the appropriate exercises. Similarly, the disorders of the mind also can be corrected with the right kind of studies. Now, when we look at the structure of the essay, we see that the style and structure of Bacon have several engaging qualities. Each sentence is like a finely polished gem. There is a repetition, of course, where he wants to emphasize, he emphasizes through repetition. But the essay has each sentence carefully selected and strung together. There is no disorganization. They are not broken. The sentences are joined. They have a unification of thought throughout the essay. So Bacon has gems of thought and language, but he does not scatter them about with uncalculating profusion. So he is not writing with profundity of thoughts. His thought process is very disciplined. It is lined, and he puts them like there is an unmistakable stamp of careful artistic finish. He puts them in a very disciplined manner, and we also see that there is a combination of abstract thinking along with the concrete images in the essay. So to conclude, we can say that the quality of strength in Bacon's style, as also in this essay, is actually intellectual rather than emotional. Objectivity is a very strong point of Bacon, which is visible in the essay of Studies also. So we find this essay as a specimen of his fine style, his preciseness, his lucidity, and the discipline of his writing, which appeals throughout the essay. So this was my brief analysis of the essay of Studies written by Francis Bacon. For more videos, please keep watching my channel. Thank you for now.